one fruit that researchers and nephrologists, the doctors who specialize in kidney health, have been watching closely for its effect on kidney function in older adults. It's common, it's inexpensive, and there's a good chance you already enjoy it. But there's also an important catch that not everyone should ignore, and I'll explain that before we go any further. Hi everyone, welcome back to Wise Body Wellness. Today we're talking about watermelon and its connection to kidney health. Before anything else, if you've been diagnosed with any stage of chronic kidney disease or you're on dialysis, please talk to your doctor or a renal dietitian before making changes based on this video. Some of what makes watermelon helpful for general kidney support can actually be a problem for people with existing kidney disease, and I'll explain exactly why in a few minutes. For everyone else, let's get into the research. Why kidney function matters more after 60. Kidney function naturally declines with age, even in people with no diagnosed kidney disease. Blood flow to the kidneys tends to decrease over time, and the kidney's filtering capacity, something doctors measure as GFR, gradually drops as part of normal aging for most people. This is part of why staying well hydrated and supporting kidney function through diet becomes more important, not less, as we get older. Dehydration is one of the most common and under-recognized issues affecting kidney health in older adults, partly because the sensation of thirst naturally weakens with age. Many seniors are mildly dehydrated without ever feeling thirsty, and this puts extra strain on kidney function over time. Watermelon and hydration. This is where watermelon starts to stand out. It's about 92% water, making it one of the most hydrating whole foods available. And unlike drinking plain water, the natural sugars and electrolytes in watermelon may help the body retain and use that fluid more effectively, a concept researchers sometimes call functional hydration. Since dehydration places extra stress on kidney function, some researchers believe that consistently eating high water content foods like watermelon may support healthier kidney workload over time, especially in older adults who don't drink enough water on their own. This isn't about flushing anything out overnight. It's a slower, cumulative effect tied to staying properly hydrated day after day. Now here's the compound in watermelon that's specifically gotten attention from kidney researchers: the blood pressure connection. Blood pressure and kidney health are closely tied together, almost a two-way relationship. High blood pressure is one of the leading causes of kidney damage over time, since it puts extra strain on the small blood vessels inside the kidneys that do the actual filtering work. At the same time, declining kidney function can make blood pressure harder to control, which can create a cycle that gets worse if left unaddressed. This is part of why the citrulline in watermelon matters beyond just kidney blood flow specifically. Since citrulline supports nitric oxide production, which helps blood vessels relax, several studies have found that regular watermelon consumption is associated with modest reductions in blood pressure, particularly in adults with elevated but not yet high blood pressure. One study following middle-aged and older adults found measurable improvements in artery stiffness after consistent watermelon extract intake over several weeks. Lower blood pressure over time may indirectly support kidney health simply by reducing the daily strain on those same small blood vessels. It's a supporting factor rather than a fix on its own, but it's one more reason watermelon keeps showing up in this research. Medication interactions to know about. Before making watermelon a daily habit, there are a couple of medication interactions worth knowing about. Since citrulline affects blood vessel relaxation in a similar way to some blood pressure medications, combining large amounts of watermelon or citrulline supplements with blood pressure medication can occasionally cause blood pressure to drop lower than intended, leading to dizziness or lightheadedness. There's also a less commonly known interaction with certain medications for erectile dysfunction, since those work through a similar nitric oxide pathway. This doesn't mean watermelon is dangerous for people on these medications, but combining large amounts of citrulline-rich foods with these prescriptions is worth a quick conversation with a doctor or pharmacist, especially if you notice any dizziness after starting to eat more watermelon regularly. As with most of what we've covered today, moderate amounts as part of a normal diet are very different from concentrated extracts or supplements, which carry a higher chance of any of these interactions becoming noticeable. Watermelon, natural sugar, and blood sugar concerns. A common concern for people managing diabetes or pre-diabetes is whether a sweet fruit like watermelon is safe to eat regularly. It's a fair question, since watermelon does have a relatively high glycemic index, meaning it can raise blood sugar fairly quickly on its own. But glycemic index only tells part of the story. Watermelon also has a low glycemic load because a typical serving contains relatively few actual grams of sugar per cup compared to how sweet it tastes, largely due to its high water content. This means a reasonable serving size tends to have a smaller real-world effect on blood sugar than the glycemic index number alone would suggest. Pairing watermelon with a source of protein or fat, a small handful of nuts for example, can further slow sugar absorption and reduce any spike. As with the other topics we've covered today, portion size matters more than avoiding the fruit altogether, and anyone managing diabetes should still monitor their own response, since individual reactions to fruit sugar can vary quite a bit from person to person. Citrulline and kidney function. Watermelon contains an amino acid called citrulline, concentrated especially in the white rind that most people throw away. Citrulline plays a role in a process called the urea cycle, which is directly involved in how the body processes and eliminates nitrogen waste, a core function of the kidneys. Some studies have found that citrulline may help improve blood flow throughout the body, including to the kidneys, by supporting nitric oxide production, a compound that helps blood vessels relax and function properly. Better blood flow to the kidneys is associated with more efficient filtering over time. This research is still developing, and citrulline is not a treatment for existing kidney disease, but it's a large part of why watermelon specifically, rather than fruit in general, has drawn attention from researchers in this area. The antioxidant angle. Watermelon also contains lycopene, the same antioxidant that gives tomatoes their red color, along with vitamin C. Both are antioxidants that researchers believe may help reduce oxidative stress in kidney tissue. Since chronic low-grade oxidative stress is thought to contribute to the gradual decline in kidney function that happens with age, some researchers believe antioxidant-rich foods like watermelon may play a small supportive role in slowing that process over time. This is associative research rather than proof of a direct effect, and it's a modest, long-term contribution rather than anything dramatic or immediate. The important catch: potassium. Here's the part I mentioned at the start, and it's genuinely important. Watermelon, like many fruits, contains potassium, a mineral that healthy kidneys filter out of the blood easily. For most people, this is a good thing, since potassium supports healthy blood pressure and heart function. But for people with chronic kidney disease, especially in later stages, damaged kidneys can't filter potassium efficiently, which allows it to build up in the blood. High potassium levels, a condition called hyperkalemia, can be dangerous and in severe cases can affect heart rhythm. This is exactly why a fruit that supports kidney health in a healthy person can be genuinely risky for someone with existing kidney disease. And it's also why any video suggesting a fruit flushes kidney toxins overnight is not just inaccurate, it's potentially harmful advice for a meaningful part of this audience. If you don't know your kidney function numbers and you're over 60, it's worth asking your doctor about a simple blood test called GFR at your next checkup. It's quick, common, and gives you the information you need to know whether fruits like watermelon are something to enjoy freely or something to moderate. How much to eat for people without diagnosed kidney disease? Most of the research showing benefit uses roughly 1 to 2 cups of watermelon a few times a week, not necessarily daily. Eating the fruit whole rather than as juice preserves more of the fiber and keeps sugar intake more moderate. If you want to include some of the citrulline found in the rind, the white part just under the green skin can be blended into a smoothie, since it's not very pleasant to eat on its own. If you found this helpful, hit subscribe. We cover research-backed health topics for people over 60 every week, and we always try to give you the honest picture, catches included, not just the exciting headline. If you missed our video on the tablespoon that may help you fall back asleep at night, I'll link it right here. Understanding your body, catches and all, is how you actually take care of it. See you in the next one.